everyone. Welcome back to another 5 Stars Realty podcast. My name is Stephanie, and today we have a very special guest. Today, I have a question for all of you first. Can someone really build $7.8 million in sales volume real estate business in just 2 years? Well, today's guest did it. In just a little under 2 years, she was able to close more than 21 transactions. She reached over 7.8 million in sales volume, earned a spot as a top 5% of realtors in New Britain, and she's doing it all while raising a family. Today's guest is Lizneirie Rodriguez. Today we're going to talk about her journey, what she's learned in today's Connecticut market, and what really takes to build a successful business. So welcome.
Thank you. 5% in New Britain. Where's my plaque?
Where is it? I think you need to pay for it or something. But when I looked you up, it did say like you have awards. You did it in top sides,
Okay.
and you did it in sales volume. So they gave you 2 for top 5%.
They should have emailed me or something.
But it's fine because in this conversation, we're going to mention that you're back at the 5 Stars Realty family.
Right.
And we look at those things, right? And then I tell you, congrats, Lise. You did it. Okay?
Okay, good.
So you made it, by the way. So congrats. For our viewers out there, I just want them to know, right, a little bit about you, your background before being a realtor.
Okay. Well, first of all, I am in my 40s. I'm 44. So it took me a little bit of living life before I decided to even, become a realtor or change my career. I'm Puerto Rican. I was born in Puerto Rico. And then we came over here when I was about 3 years old. And my entire family, 5 kids and my mom, we all moved a little separately. First it was my mom, and then, my younger sister and I first started living in New York, and then we ended up here in Connecticut. I don't even know what else to say about me, honestly. I was a medical assistant for a long time, and the only reason why I became a medical assistant was because I actually ended up, I found out I was pregnant with my oldest son.
Okay.
So I thought that going into the medical fields was going to be a guaranteed job all the time, so I always knew that I had empathy in me, and I feel I do find myself a little different. There are times that, and especially in school, when I was in high school, when I was in middle school, I had friends, but I always had a different opinion about, certain subjects or anything like that. So I felt at times that I couldn't really relate. But then I just kind of, I just adapted. That's a little back and forth.
No,
basically.
Completely. So you come from a big family.
I do.
And that's not a big secret because Puerto Ricanos, we have big families.
Yeah.
So how you were medical assistant, correct?
I was a medical assistant for I'm going to say about 17 years because my son, he's 17 now, so I guess 16 years.
So what made you then, after 16, 17 years, in this career, at that point it's a career, right? Yeah. What made you say, you know what, no, let me do my licensing, let me take the test, and let me be a realtor?
I didn't think I was going to be a realtor. I thought I was going to be in the medical field forever. So I actually ended up getting married, and I had a second child. My youngest child, we knew that she was going to start school. We had moved over and bought a house in Windsor, and so we knew that she was going to start school eventually. So I actually needed a career, that was going to give me a little bit more flexibility. But the only reason that realtor came up was one day this was even before we bought a house. My husband was just like, we were talking how frustrated the hospital was. Like, it was so frustrating, the medical field. It was during COVID. It was one of the most hardest things that I've ever been through, going and driving in the in the highway and just not seeing one car. That was so sad. And it took a real, like, I took a mental hit. I really did. And so my husband, being that we actually have our stepdaughter was living with us, or his oldest child was living with us. She actually she was going to graduate high school, and we got a pamphlet, like a flyer for Manchester Community College. And he's like, okay, we're in the kitchen. He's like, let's take a look to see what's out there. So he was just kind of turning pages, and all of a sudden Realtor came up, and that they have a Realtor class. And he was just like, he stopped at it. He was like, and then brought it up to me. And, I never, ever thought of being a Realtor. But for some reason, that moment that he was just like, I think this will work for you, I started to really, like, think about myself and what I've learned being empathetic with everyone and everything. I was just like, you know what? That's actually going to be where I want to go. Let's do it. So it took me a year
to do the classes and everything.
No, to sign up.
Oh,
I was so scared.
Fear will hold you back if you don't confront it.
Yeah. One day we had already done our thing with buying, becoming homeowners ourselves, and the Realtor, I kind of was watching him and taking little notes, but you don't really see exactly what they do, so it was very vague, with what I was able to see, but I liked it. I liked what he did. And then finally, when we became homeowners, it was so exciting and all this. So I was just like, you know what? I want to go ahead and, help other families.
Yeah. Make this a career.
Yeah. Well, become homeowners, honestly. And the moment that I was just like, you know what? I'm signing up was because we had just moved in, and we're in a cul-de-sac, and there was a ice cream truck that came down the cul-de-sac, and it stopped in front of our house, and I saw my children walk over in their own property to, buy an ice cream. And I was just like, it brought me so much joy just seeing that, and being able, my husband and I being able to provide that for our kids.
That sounds very, like, it sounds like a moment, like an awakening. Like,
it really was.
Like, I want to bring this to other people.
I wanted to. Yeah.
Being a Realtor takes a lot of empathy. It takes a lot of relating to people, right? If you are someone that people can actually talk to and express, you're going to have a lot of buyers, a lot of people just wanting to talk to you about it, right? And I believe that's why you're successful. So 2 years into real estate, and you've already built this incredible business. What do you think has made the biggest difference?
Honestly, the biggest difference is the fact that I kept being told by a few people that it's hard the first year. So I dove in head first. I was just like, I am going to be successful, and I'm going to prove to these people that are telling me that it's hard the first year that it's not. And I signed up with 5 Stars, first brokerage. And then I went into Smart MLS. He actually, I'm so grateful for Guillermo, because he believed in me so much that he signed me up for everything. And so I went into Smart MLS. I basically was just teaching myself the entire thing. I was just like, you know what, let me click here, click here. My sister was my first client, and 2 weeks in, I found her a home. It was during a time, I mean, it's still kind of now the same way, where, there's a bidding war at times in some towns, and they basically want more than asking. And I was just like, you know what, let me call them and see. And I was able to get the home less than asking, and, her first home within 2 weeks. So it was just the reason that I think, my success was not just because of that one moment, but because that one moment helped me realize that this isn't scary. I called her. I called the listing agent, and I just spoke to her. And then, it helped the fact that I actually being that she was my sister, I kind of learned in a way that I was head on. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. But it wasn't with someone that I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Negotiations are the hardest part, I believe. But, well, really finding a client. But I have agents now that we've grown, right?
Yeah.
I do a lot of like, okay, this is MLS, this is the basics, but please go ahead, like, dive into it. Just click buttons. Nothing's gonna happen. Just look, right? You can look at hot sheets. You can look at anything that's in the market. But a lot of the things that I have is like then I'm teaching like how to do an offer and how to do it correctly because they won't teach you that in classes.
No.
But when I ask the agent, I'm like, did you talk to the listing agent? Did you call them? Did you see like what's going on?
Yeah.
No.
That is actually one thing that has helped me. The fact that I reached out to her and I spoke to her, I asked her, hey, would the seller be willing to take this offer? That like literally that's it. And, having a conversation with her, it helped me do the same thing to the next one and the next one. And every single time that I do a showing, now my thing is I'll show a home. If my client loves it, if they want to put an offer in, I'm going to do my homework and I'm actually going to call the listing agent, have a conversation with them, build a relationship. It's so important.
It's really important.
So important. We're not on opposite ends. We're on the same team, even if you are representing somebody else. You're representing the seller. I'm representing the buyer. Doesn't matter. We're on the same team. We want the same exact thing to happen in the end. So,
no, I always go like I'm like, don't fear this person. This person's the one that actually is going to talk to the seller. They're going to go all over the deals. You might stand out just because you were able to call, you put in a strong offer. I always go with that.
Yeah.
So make yourself known and don't be fearful, because in this industry, you're going to have to make a lot of calls.
Yeah.
You're going to have to like kind of like step out into that shell. I'm usually more into the quiet side. But you wouldn't notice this with this. But how did you then, after your sister, right? How did then you say, who's next? Who's my next client?
I dove into my Facebook. I literally was just like, I started talking to everybody, letting them know that I got my license. First, it started off with my coworkers. I was working a full-time job at the hospital. And so they knew that I was going to my classes, that I was signing up, to take the test. They knew everything. They knew the whole journey, because I was having and starting to build, and putting it in people's minds. This is, what I'm about to do. And so I did the same thing with Facebook. I was very active with Facebook even prior, and Instagram. I do a lot of stories. And I started putting on there, hey, who's looking to rent? I wasn't even doing buying and selling. At first, I was asking a simple, who's looking to rent? And then I started posting, things that were available out there. Hey, I went into Smart MLS and I actually looked it up. This address is, available for.
That's smart.
Right. And so I did ask, some of the agents if it's okay for me to go ahead and post, their pictures on my social media. And so with their permission, I went ahead and I did that. And my next client actually came from one of my Facebook friends, her nephew. She reached out telling me this story that I felt so much. I literally related to him so much, because we actually, prior to us buying our house, I'm not going to say that we were kicked out, but we were kicked out of our home because that home was being sold. And so,
happens.
Right. It happens more than, you know, a lot of people like to say. And being that we had 30 days and it was December, so Christmas, I knew the stress and the story. I related to it. And I was just like, let me go ahead and, she gave me his number. I reached out to him and he told me the urgency. So the very next day, it was 9:30 at night on a Friday. I sent him a studio a couple of other things, but based on, I always ask, what's your budget? You know, what are you allowed?
Important.
Very much. And so we went ahead and scheduled a showing for 10 a.m. on Saturday. They were so strapped basically for time. So I just, you know, called the property management, or you have to put it on the smart MLS. It's not all, you know, you can talk to the agents and stuff like
Correct.
that. But they gave me the phone number of the property agent. And so I went ahead and I called, and I spoke to that agent, and I got the application. He submitted it. It was a family. It was a family of 3.
In a studio?
Yes, because it was a, you know, the boyfriend, girlfriend, and their small baby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But again, they were strapped for time, you know. But so we went ahead and he was in, long story short, they were in their home by Tuesday. They got their keys.
From Friday?
From Friday, 9:30 at night.
People, she's going to give you her information. If someone asked you today, is this a good time to buy a home in Connecticut?
Yeah.
What would you say?
So I always tell everyone, it's not the time. It's not the timing. You know, it's not what's going on in the world. It's what's going on with you, your finances. You know, so it's always a good time. I'm always going to say, yes, it's a good time. Are you ready? Let's find out if you're ready.
It's not ready if you're thinking about changing jobs,
right,
or moving. Please don't.
Right. Or buying a new car.
Buying a new car. Your car's about to break down. It's not a good time. Yeah. I just bought one, so it's not a good time for me. But
that's okay.
I think it's always good. Wouldn't you say it's always good to talk to somebody, yes, talk to a lender, absolutely, see where you are?
Actually, I always say to talk to a realtor first, because a realtor, like myself, I actually will not only just give you, you know, advice on the steps on what what happens, mm-hmm, but based on your situation, because I've built basically a team based on what they can do and what programs and products they can provide. Because I have, certain, for example, I have certain lenders that do jumbo loans.
Correct.
And they're not going to help someone that's going to need a CHAFA loan, the first time home buyer down payment assistance. So have that conversation with your realtor, like myself, and then I will connect you with a lender, because yes, you're not going to just, the products that everyone has, it's not the same. I shouldn't go into my own bank, even though banks are great, but I shouldn't just go into my own bank because, or even, I'm going to change that. It's just like skincare. Yes, we have skin, but it's different.
Everybody's skin is different.
My wash is not going to do the same thing. My face wash is not going to do the same thing
as mine,
as yours. Right.
My concerns aren't the same as yours.
Correct.
Either.
Correct. Your situation's not the same as mine. So think about it that way. And that's why a good realtor like myself will have that conversation, see where you are, and then connect you with the perfect lender.
I agree. What's the biggest misconception buyers have in today's market?
The down payment.
What's that misconception?
They think it's 20%. They think they're going to need $20,000 to, buy a home, to save up $20,000. And honestly, you don't. I have so many people that have actually bought homes without needing a dime, because the down payment assistance that Connecticut offers is so amazing that it actually covers it. So you do not need a big savings account for, to buy a home.
I love that. Actually, that will be real, because that is true. A lot of people, my sister included, I'm looking at you directly in the camera, is like, oh, she's saving. Then I'm like, I think at some point you should stop. Like, just buy the house. Oh, I want more. And I'm like, you don't need more.
She's scared.
She is. Mm-hmm. And they newlyweds, but they're going for 2 years now. But I'm like, no, just take the step.
Yeah.
Buy the home.
Yeah.
So if you had somebody ask you, am I buying, do I wait, or do I rent? What would you say?
Always buy. Always buy.
I always say buy too. You have
Yeah.
equity, you have everything. There's different type of things.
Yeah.
I have like a misconception too, I would say, is that not all transactions are the same.
Mm-hmm.
So just because your friend bought a house, Shafa, like whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
and she bought a $400,000 house, does not mean you are doing the same.
Yeah.
So what would you say for buyers that are thinking, oh, this will be like an easy transaction?
Who told you that? Because a lot of times they take the advice of an uncle, a dad, someone in their family, a friend, a coworker who just bought a house 10,000 years ago. And, you know, their experience was their experience. And they always have something to say, which is great, you know, to have someone that you can actually talk to. Yeah. But the person that you should actually really take advice from is your realtor.
Oh my God, that loan is $2,000. Well, you can find that for $1,200.
Yeah.
In today's market.
Yeah.
In Connecticut. Let me stress that. Okay. Let me see. Because I have a couple things and I want to make sure. So we hit obviously the before. We hit you as a realtor, different programs. I want to hit a little bit more towards your family side.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that we spoke, you 2 babies, your stepdaughter and everything, but how has then becoming a mother, right, influenced you in the way you do your business?
So honestly, becoming a mom has changed not only just the way that I do my business, but the way that I think of the world overall. So it has absolutely changed everything, where I shop, literally everything. But again, I go back to empathy. I understand when we're doing a buyer consultation, you know, during Zoom or even a phone call, and your child's over here yelling and, you know, needing mommy, I'm okay. I will go ahead and hold on, you know, for you, because I know at the end of the day, moms are moms first, you know, dads are dads first. And so that's literally,
it's important.
It's important.
And it's important to have somebody that your buyer feels comfortable, right?
Yeah.
It's sometimes I'm in a training, sometimes I'm in a Zoom meeting or something, and agents have kids too.
Yeah.
And in the background, I hear them talking, or they're like, "Oh, Stephanie, I'm so sorry." They mute themselves and they're like running around, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Like
That's
it's
real life.
completely fine, because it's so important. And that question goes into, yes, I'm a mother, but I'm an agent, and I can still do this as well.
Yes.
Right. And I think that's what's so great, and that's why maybe you went into that realtor, right? We had that conversation about then how do you change it, or what career do you take to then become a realtor? You said your first year you were going to break it and you're going to do it, and you did. Hello, 21 transactions, and we're not done yet. You know, we're halfway through the year. So that number can hit easily over 30 units closed in 2026. But being a mom and being just a parent, a single parent, a family with a husband and everything is just very sometimes difficult. And being an agent facilitates something.
Yeah. It helps you multitask too.
Yeah. Yes.
You learn multitasking.
100%. Trust me. So what's something then people don't see behind the scenes of being a realtor and a mom?
The frustration, you know, sometimes the fires that we're putting out.
In both sides,
in
as
both
a
sides.
mom, as an agent.
Yes. I also have a dog too.
Oh.
And so he likes to just kind of look, hear whatever's happening, the wind blowing or whatever, and he'll just bark at the door. You know,
Oh no.
he's being protective, but it's
mine,
okay.
I have, he's small, so I have like my ottoman against the window because he's a chismoso. Okay, he likes to gossip. So he just stands in the window and he's like looking at everybody play, because I have like a park behind me, so everybody's playing. He's like, He doesn't bark at anything. I can walk him, and these dogs are going crazy at him, and he just continue. He's very mellow.
What a good boy.
Very mellow, but he is noisy.
Yeah.
He is. He wants to know cuál es el chisme. Okay? If you're having a conversation like in my house, he wants to be in my lap because he wants to be in the middle looking at everybody.
Oh.
Chimoso. That's what I call him. So how do you stay present for your family while you run the real estate business?
So I actually work from home. I have my office at home, and so most times I will, if I'm not doing a showing, if I'm not, coming here to do a podcast or anything like that, I go straight home. Yeah.
Okay. How does that, like, obviously you mentioned Instagram and everything in your family, but how do you then build 21 closed transactions?
By talking, by talking to people. Honestly, it's relating to, your audience, I say.
Do you have word of mouth? Do you get, like, leads by word of mouth?
Now I do. In the beginning, it was a lot of putting everything on social media. I don't just talk about real estate either. I show my dog. I don't really like show my kids that much, but I show my dog. I show that he's outside in a lawn that, is his, and, things like that. So I show a lot of, like, things that happen every day. It's not just real estate. It's boring, You don't want to just...
It's true.
Yeah.
Like, what are you looking? What are you looking?
Right.
What are you looking for?
Right.
People will be like, oh, she's spamming me.
Yeah.
Let me just take her out. No, that's true. Trust me. I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
So what does success mean to you today to compare to when you first got your license?
Honestly, it is different because my why changed. In the beginning, it was my kids need me. I'm going to need to drop my kid, my youngest off at school. Especially now we live in a neighborhood that the elementary school is separated. They have kindergarten through second on one side, and then, the town. And then, so closer to our home was third to fifth grade. So she was either going to walk or we were, someone was going to drop her off. And so being that, I was like, you know what? That's what pushed me to get my real estate license, honestly.
Just to be more present at home.
Yeah, right. But that was my why then. My why now is to help these families to provide for them a service that not only is going to, make sure that their dream is coming true, because a lot of my clients don't think that they could. And then when they do, it's like, oh my gosh, the moment that they find out that they get a pre-approval, the moment that they can find out that, I actually had a recent client that she worked super hard on her credit, and within 2 months, we were able to get her pre-approved. So now it's like, oh, the excitement. I was there, while we were buying our home. So honestly, yeah, that's what changed my
your
life.
Clients. What's one habit that has had the biggest impact on your career?
Staying in contact with my past clients.
I mean, that's lead generation, as well.
Yeah.
Basically, if you have a buyer, right, they will become a seller or in their point of life as well, right? If you sold to me right now, nobody live alone. So again, if I did get married, have kids, then we'd have to upgrade that home.
Right.
How important is upkeeping with that relationship?
It's super important. I've had already a situation where they bought a home and they wanted to sell a couple years later. So, and on it, the one habit that I do have is not only, I don't just reach out, because during the transaction, I'm like your friend. Like, after I give you keys, after I hand you keys, I'm like, what else are we going to do? Or I'm just looking for you still. Because it's a
relationship.
Yes.
Closing a deal, it just takes over 30 days or 30 days. But then before that, you're still getting them pre-qualified,
Right.
pre-approved. We're looking for houses
Right.
or we're selling it. So
It's months.
it's months.
Mhm.
So you're at least like minimum 4 months into this.
Right.
So that's half a year.
Right.
So
Almost.
okay.
But that
You're
is
getting
definitely
invited
high.
to Christmas.
Yeah. So I don't just reach out and I'm not just like, hey, just, how are you? How's the house or whatever? Like there are other things in their lives that's happening. So, if I see it on Facebook or if I see it on Instagram, because I'm always going to follow you, then I'm constantly being like, oh my God, look how big your kid is, always.
That's actually a really good idea. That
Yeah.
way you're as well in their mind.
Mhm.
They're you're not just drifting away.
Right. And I've actually, I'm sorry, I don't mean to.
No, you're fine.
I've actually done little Popeyes as well.
Okay.
So like for example, during Halloween, I printed out little movie tickets that I created on Canva and created a little box. I put candies and popcorn and created a movie night for their family because I know that they have kids, for example, and how many they have. So I created whatever, to match how many kids they have. And then I dropped by and I actually, if they weren't home, I put it on their doorknob and they called me later. Oh my God, this is such a good idea.
That is a good idea.
Yeah.
So relationships are so important. You really need to foster them. You need to take care of them.
Right.
This is your livelihood. Those are the people that are going to come back 100%.
Yeah. You're important to me during and after. So
that is definitely a very good advice for people that are thinking of joining or becoming a realtor. Somebody's just not one deal.
Right.
When you treat somebody after transaction, it's just basically next.
Right.
You're not building a relationship. You're not building a successful business.
Yeah, for sure.
So imagine someone is watching this interview and is thinking about starting a career in real estate, but they're full of doubts. What's one belief that they need to let go before you can truly succeed?
Many beliefs, because I know that there are a lot of people that start thinking to themselves, that's not the type of person that I am. I'm not like you where, I can speak to anyone or I can you don't have to be a certain way in order for you to become a realtor. If you want that career, then that's what you're going to go for. So
there's so many niches out there too. Like you don't need to be doing cold calling. You don't need to door knock. You don't. Again, you did it through social media.
Yep.
Which is really great, and that's the way you still keep doing it, right?
And your sphere of influence is gonna be your top. The people that you already talk to, your friends, anyone that has like a relationship in your life, has had any type of like contact with, they're going to be your number one. They're going to be the first person that, just like how I was telling you before, where I was at work, and I went ahead and I was telling everybody my entire journey around me, the classes, how I felt. Oh my God, 5:30 to 9:30, things like that. I was always just coming and telling them about it.
They changed those classes now. They start later now. They're like from 6 p.m. to 10. I'm like, who really? And I think it's because people need to like be able to be there in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Those classes are really late now.
Yeah.
How long did it take you from when you got your license, you were still working at the hospital or doctor's office, to then you being like, oh, I'm going to quit and this is what I'm doing full time?
I wanted to do it the moment I got my license. That was my focus. That was where I wanted to just be like, I wanted to be in a place that I was just like, I want to just do full, realtor full time because I loved it. And then it took me about, I think it was about a year, just over 2 years actually, where I was like able to just be like, no, a year. Yeah.
I was going to say, because if
year.
you've closed over 20 transactions as a part-time, then you're hustling.
Yeah. I was working my 9 to 5. It was really 7 to 3. And so I still made time afterwards to do showings, and people usually work. Your clients always work, during the day. So it's not like you're going to really need to be available as much in the beginning, and then you go and do your showings in the evening. And I've done showings at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And both those times I did it twice, both of those clients bought homes. That home at 8 o'clock at night. So it's worth it. It's worth whatever time. I will sit here and be on the phone at 10:30 answering questions, still reaching out to my lender, because honestly, the lenders that I work with, they're also available at that time. You're going to build your team, and you're going to build, a relationship with someone that works like you. So,
question then. You do a little bit more buyers.
Yeah.
On the buyer side.
Yeah.
What would you say your turnaround for having a buyer is? Like, when you get them, they're pre-qualified. How long does it usually average, right, take you to actually be able to say we're under contract?
I'm going to say average about either 2 or 3 months. Okay. But I have had it done in 1 day.
And then that's another question on that. When you do it, let's say 2 to 3 months, is it because they don't like any house, or you've actually submitted a lot of offers, and how today's market is, then you haven't been the offer accepted?
Right. So lately, that's definitely how it's been. More and more submitting offers, not being accepted, but it's okay. Like, I always tell my buyers, even in the very beginning, let me stress. If you go ahead and, we decide we're going to put in an offer and it doesn't get accepted, it's going to be okay, because that house, it wasn't meant for you. True. Like, I believe that so much because I've seen it, especially with myself. When my husband and I were looking, it took us about 2 or 3 months. I think probably 4. We submitted 5 offers, and on the 5th one is where it was accepted. And the only reason why they accepted it was because we were the first ones. But then moving there, our neighbors, you just start seeing how much you fit in that home. And so that's why I believe that the right home is going to come. And so it's okay. Some of my clients are always like, I'm sorry, I don't like this house. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry.
Have you had any buyers that you've showed them like 10 houses and they were like, no,
in
I
one
don't
day?
like any. Yes,
Yes.
I don't like any of them.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And then you went and did another 10 houses.
Absolutely.
And continued until.
Yep.
So that's important.
Yeah.
Because then after 10 houses, I'd be like, dude, you have to like.
Yeah. But at that point, we also sit down. I also make it a point to sit down and not only just say, hey, what's wrong, but I start asking things like, what don't you like about this one, and what did you like about this one? Sometimes I actually have a questionnaire that I started to give my clients for when they do, go see a home. While we're walking the home, they have like a questionnaire where they can check things off also, and it helps them kind of break down what they didn't like, because then, like, say for example, I didn't like the type of home it is, a cape. I didn't like it. So now we're not going to go see capes anymore.
Oh, I like capes.
Oh, I like capes too. But, for example, like, some people don't like raised ranches.
I don't like raised ranches. That's where I draw my line.
Yeah.
We're not looking at those.
Yeah.
It feels like I go in and the stairway, and I'm like, is it a 1? Is it a 2? Is it no? It's not.
What's funny is that when we were looking at homes, I only wanted to see raised ranches.
Really?
Yes, because I just felt like it was just big. You have a lot more space.
I don't see it. I don't see it.
But honestly, we kept putting in offers. They weren't accepted. And our realtor was like, maybe a raised ranch isn't what is meant for you. So we went to go see split levels. We saw a whole bunch of other stuff, but split levels where we ended up. And I had no idea what a split level was.
No. No.
And now I love my house.
Yeah, no, I think it depends. Maybe if I walk into a raised ranch someday and I'm like, okay, maybe I fall. And I've seen some that are very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Guillermo was put one in listed one in Norwich, was it? a few months back, and I had to go and like see the last, like make sure that everything was clean and everything. And I was like, oh, I want this. It was just so big, and it was a raised ranch, by the way. The lot, the yard, it was. Oh my god, when do I buy this one? Right? It went off the market really quick.
Yeah.
But you never know what you're gonna see. So that's something I talk to the agents too. Yeah, your buyer might want this, but talk to them, or at least the first time show them, I know this is not the ideal, but I just want you to see the look, the
open your mind.
Yes,
because there was a lot of times that I had one client that was saying that they only wanted 1,000 or more square footage, and there was one home in particular, I believe it was like almost 900 square feet. They were a small family, and I was just like, let's go see it. I want you to know, have you ever seen a square footage, under 1,000? And they were just like,
no, I don't want to see that.
Right. They just refused to see it. But I was like, I want you to actually know and feel and walk around and see what that feels like versus someone telling you, or you thinking, oh, this is a small house based on the pictures or whatever. You never know what you're going to like until you actually go.
Yeah. One of the things I talk to agents is about like push listings. And I tell them always, like, never do it so detailed. Oh, no, they said they want 2 garages, right? But they might be fine with 1 and maybe an addition or something, right? But you should always be able to kind of like turn it around.
Yeah.
Because a $400,000 house will not have 2 garages unless it's like a flip or something like that.
Yeah.
But I always tell them, just talk to your buyers, have an open mind, right? And now we're getting to the part where I'm going to ask you the rapid fire. Okay. So just take a deep breath, relax. Okay. This is a one word, or let me see. Yeah, it even says it 1 word. So just your choice. Okay. The first one always gets people. Okay. Very easy.
Okay.
Buyers or sellers?
Buyers.
You see? Morning or night?
Morning.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Phone call or text message?
Text.
Really? I thought you would go. No, phone call. Call me. Beach or mountain?
Beach.
Yeah, because you're Puerto Rican. Favorite Connecticut town?
I'm going to say Windsor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 word your clients would use to describe you?
Amazing. Oh. I hear that a lot. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I do.
Dream vacation?
Bora Bora.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I would say that too. Favorite way to spend a day off?
At home.
Yeah, you're a homebody just like
with
me.
With no one, trying to message you or anything. Just quietness.
I like silence completely. No, so thank you for being here today.
You're welcome.
It was great getting to know you a little bit better, getting to know like your background and how you became a top 5% realtor in New Britain.
That's insane. I was just saying recently, I keep selling houses in New Britain.
Now you're top 5%. Okay, so that's great. And for anybody that's looking to be able to talk to you, find you, where can they find you?
So I'm on social media, Instagram. Honestly, if you just type in my full name, it's so different, that you'd be able to find me. Instagram, Facebook. I do have a TikTok, but I don't really use it as much. But the best way is to text me.
Okay. So all her information is going to be in the bottom. You're going to be able to reach her. And I want to thank you again for being here, for having this conversation with me. If, again, all of our viewers are able to see you, but I want to thank everybody for watching today's episode, and we'll see you next time.